Good evening and welcome to Gotham, where we have lots of love triangles, doppelgangers, and having Alice inside you to discuss. I'm here today with Daniel Pickett, who has rejoined us after the Day of the Living Dead or whatever.
Halloween. Good evening, Gothamites. Welcome. And
we have Alexis Ned, whose birthday it was yesterday, so you should type in the comments, happy birthday.
Hi, everybody. Happy Gotham, and I guess happy belated birthday to myself.
Awesome. All right, so first off, what do we guys think of this episode? We guys.
I feel slightly tricked by it because when you introduce a character named Toad into a Batman show, you think Professor Pig is going to follow, and then they, like a doctor, like a surgeon, you go, oh, here it comes. Like, here we go.
Oh, so they really set you up for that.
Nothing to do with it.
Especially when it's a plastic surgeon who steals faces.
Yes, exactly.
I 1,000% thought it was going to be Pig, and then they just ripped it out from under me.
Yeah.
And I had just been playing Arkham Knight, and I just finished my Pig boss. So I was prepared.
Oh my gosh. Well, and I guess he sort of died at the end, right? So it's not like they're gonna...
We don't know that he died. He had some last words.
So maybe he will become that later.
He's got a different name, but on the window it was Simon with a Y instead of Simon with an I. So maybe they'll veer that way at some point. I don't know.
Well, he longs to make you perfect.
Yes.
Speaking of the perpetrator of the crime against our not Pig, we had Barnes this episode going crazy with bloodlust, right? That was the name of the episode, and his was the bloodlust. So, what did we think of Barnes this episode? Was it faster than you expected of a transformation, or?
It's full-on Vic Mackey tonight. It was like The Shield season 8 was happening. It was great to see it.
So it wasn't even that unrealistic.
No. Yeah. I just, I want to see him get the other team back together. They're going to go fight the 1-9ers. I mean, it's going to be, it's great to see Chickless like in that sort of angry role again. There's been some speculation though in the comments.
Oh yeah, tell us.
Also,
I don't got the comments tonight, guys.
Because there's the whole thing with
Daniel.
He was hearing the voices.
Yes.
And that people thought that was sort of reminiscent to the judge character that Harvey Dent had in the Batman animated series, where he kept hearing like guilty, guilty, guilty. So
right.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah. That's a marvelous insight. Good job, commenter.
Yeah, we have smart viewers right there.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
And that gives him somewhere to go too.
It does.
But I was going to say that despite the supernatural element of his problem this episode, it was kind of like eerily realistic and like makes sense for our time right now, dealing with how far police will go or what they can do,
This whole episode was basically Dexter meets Face Off, which I was thrilled about because, Gotham is a difficult city to be a cop in. Yeah. So you have to take the law into your own hands. And Barnes and Gordon used to have such a contentious relationship because Gordon wanted to be a vigilante and do this, and Barnes said, no, you have to do it by the law.
Right, and now they sort of
Barnes
switched.
has completely thrown the law out the window, and Gordon's doing it by the book, which I love. That is a fantastic switch on the behalf of the Gotham TV writers.
Yeah, and you see Barnes going through that struggle. Like all episodes where he's like trying to follow, like he looks at his badge or he like repeats like the mantra to himself.
Yeah.
He's trying
Someone says,
to be.
You're a cop, and he
and trying to keep everyone else following the rules, like really cleaning up Gotham's police department.
Yeah, exactly.
This is it's been a very slow burn for the whole first half of the season, and I feel like this episode it really paid off because you got to see how strong he is as a character for holding it in for that long.
Yes, I was so proud of him.
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's like, I'm proud of him, but I'm like, I just want you to do it now, because, like, I'm tired of these guys.
And when he straight up murdered that dude, you're like, you must have wanted to kill so many people before this, and this was your last straw.
Yeah.
So next episode's going to be lit.
Yes, it is. No, but I actually couldn't even believe, like, the first time when he held back, the scene cut away, I really thought he had killed him, and then it was like, nope, he managed to resist.
I thought they were gonna do it really early then, but Barnes is stronger than that.
Yeah, and then, right, like by the time you see Simon show up at the party, you're just like, okay, he has to die. He has to die now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes. Screw that guy.
I thought it was sort of interesting, too, when he went and visited Jervis, that he was able to trigger the sort of effect in him. Like, I wonder if that is something that will come back later, too.
So you think that, in general, Jervis has that power of suggestion for anyone?
I don't think it's anyone. I think it's
right,
the Alice power.
the Alice
People
blood,
with
the Alice
Alice
power.
inside them.
So that just, I don't know, that could be something interesting they could pursue that way. It would be sort of awful to have your police commissioner controlled by the Mad Hatter, I would think. Especially when he has super strength powers and can throw you through walls.
Yeah, but I mean, the good thing is that Barnes still has some semblance of control. Like, he can switch, like, when it's over, he switches it off and he's, like, back to being himself.
Yes.
Which I wasn't expecting that. I thought it was going to be just, like, 24/7.
Yeah,
crazy
he has a
town.
lot more fortitude than I expected. Not from the character, but that the writers would give him. So I'm glad that he has more of that.
Yeah.
But for an older gentleman such as myself, when you're watching a comic book TV show and they cut to a guy's eyes get real, focused, you expect them to turn green and start hearing that Incredible Hulk music from the 70s. Like every time they did that tight shot on his eyes, I was like, oh, he's going full Bill Bixby. Here we go.
Crossover time.
Right. Now, I was just wondering why so many people were just letting him have his little madness and like conversation with himself and not trying to escape during that time. Like, he's incapacitated for at least a couple of seconds. You guys can go. But no, they were all really polite and waited for him. So, well, since Barnes had the bulk of the police work this episode, Jim had to focus on more romantic or lack of romantic things when we had our regular people triangle with Jim, Mario, and Lee this episode.
But it's also his first day back on the job.
Yeah.
In the Gotham PD, and only 2 people congratulated him.
Well, all the other cops are dead.
Yeah, right. Yeah. There's only Harvey, Barnes, and then that one guy who showed up for a scene. I expected him to be more relevant, but then he disappeared. So, that's fine. But yeah, so Lee was really, really nice to Jim, and she's sort of like taking everything in stride, trying to keep both Jim and Mario in line. But they will not be kept in line. So
Lily Michelson in the comments just asked, do you think Mario will be able to get over that jealousy? Or do you think he's going to do something stupid that will make Lee want to go back to Gordon?
Yeah.
He's a Falcone.
Yeah. Yeah, he's gonna mess it up. Like
he's gonna mess it up. Although in my heart of hearts, I do wish Lee and Mario the best.
Right?
If only because being with Jim Gordon means you're gonna get your ass kidnapped like a million times.
I agree with this. I want her and Mario to be happy. But it's like literally the second that Mario's like, I don't know how I got so lucky, and then she makes that face like, well, you're not actually that lucky. Jim is still here. Surprise!
I just want them to have brilliant crime babies.
Well, there was that weird exchange tonight between Barbara and Lee too about don't you miss the darkness and the, like.
And I'm like, the thing is that like I believe Lee when she says no, I don't miss it,
Exactly.
But I know that she does because that's the show. Like, of course she has to miss it, but why?
I feel like this show has vastly overestimated the appeal of Jim Gordon that they've presented so far.
Yeah.
Where everyone's like, oh, this darkness, this intensity. And I'm like, I would date Mario.
Right, I would date Mario.
Personally.
I get why Barbara would want Jim back. That I believe 100%. She's ready for it. But I don't know why Lee would.
Yeah, if you're looking at Jim Gordon's like online dating profile and it's just like come wallow in the darkness, fear for your life, and if I end up with someone else, then I'm going to tell a guy to shoot you. It just feels like across the board. I don't know why you'd want to be with that guy.
Swipe left. Swipe left immediately. Yeah. Save yourself the trouble.
Do we have any Jim Gordon defenders in the comments?
That's a good
I know
question.
it's a little bit of a lag.
I cannot wait to fight you if you exist.
Yeah, feel free to defend Jim Gordon in the comments, and we will tell you why we don't agree with you.
There's a lot of people talking about Falcone being back and wondering if he's going to play a bigger role.
I was definitely expecting more from him this episode.
Yeah.
What do we think about that?
I'm so excited he's back, though. I know I said it when he first popped up, but I love John Doman so much.
Yeah, and he...
I miss him the way I missed Fish.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and he and Fish provided so much of the backstory of season 1 that it makes sense that you want to see a little bit of that develop further. Especially now that he's retired, right? It's like retired.
Yeah, he's just chilling. He's just a weird, rich old mobster now.
Yeah, I mean, he can either join like the Penguin and Barbara ranks of like villains who are actually kind of helpful in a weird way,
Yeah, or he can play golf.
Yeah.
And have a great time.
Or he can mess some things up behind the scenes. I'm expecting him to somehow tie back to the Court of Owls storyline whenever that shows up.
Right.
Ooh, I didn't think about that. I love that, though.
Thank you.
Yarhart does say that Jim Gordon needs to stop distancing himself from his few remaining allies.
That is so true. That is
extremely true.
It's not really a defender as much as, giving some good life advice to Jim Gordon.
Especially, like, I guess he didn't push Harvey away as much this episode, but, like, he's got to bring Harvey in even more so that Harvey can get more screen time at the very least.
And it was nice to see Bullock just with a haircut this week, too. It was like he was not so shaggy anymore. I guess he knew his partner was coming back. He went back to the barber.
That's true. Aww.
He got a nice haircut and a shave for Jim.
Yeah.
Yeah. I noticed, did you guys notice that Jim was, like, looking out for Harvey with the alcohol? He was like, oh, no, don't drink that or whatever. And I was like, all right, Jim, I guess you're the one to dispense life advice.
That's true.
Who knows better than Jim what not to
Harvey
do?
being our token alcoholic and Jim being our token budding alcoholic.
Yes.
At least Jim was like, slow it down there.
Right, right. They're going to be each other's, I can't even remember, sponsors, right?
Yeah.
Like, not too much. Don't drink too much, friend. We had another love triangle this episode that was far more ridiculous than the Jim and Lee one. We've got our favorite, Cobblepot. So Edward and Isabella / Kristen, right? What did we think of how that turned out this episode?
Well, is it still a triangle, or is it more just sort of a greater than symbol with just 2 lines?
I think it's a straight line at this point.
It's a straight line.
Well, straight might be the wrong word.
Yo!
It's a squiggly line.
It's a squiggly line going on.
Did you guys expect that at the end of the episode?
Oh, totally.
You expected she got whacked?
I called that the second she showed up. I was like, if she's real, Penguin's gonna kill her.
Oh, that's horrible. But yeah, I mean, I definitely expected her to die, but I thought it was gonna be Nygma who killed her. You know, like in that scene where
the choke out scene?
Yeah,
How
I was
bizarre
like, this is so dumb.
She did start coughing for a second, and I was like, oh my god, he's actually gonna kill her.
Yeah, I really thought it was gonna happen. But no, he was strong. He and Barnes were both strong this episode. Look at that, parallels.
They were.
They fought against their darker natures.
But just some advice for, the young ladies out there, if you're starting to date, don't dress up as your current boyfriend's
ex-girlfriend
that
he killed.
That's just like an experiment. Like that never goes well.
Don't do that.
Yeah. Just be yourself. If they're with you, they want you for yourself.
And also don't date someone who killed his last girlfairend. Just
Yes.
And it's from Arkham.
Right.
And has the certificate on the wall.
Yeah. I think my favorite part of this plot as it unfolded today was that it really kind of exemplified Gotham's view on, or like not their view, but like how they're interpreting queer relationships. Because in Penguin's mind, there is no way Ed will reject him because Ed doesn't like men.
Right.
It's just because there's Isabella in the way. And like sexuality is just like a blank slate in Gotham, which I think is really fascinating because there's not that many shows that do that.
I agree with that. Do you think that he will be right? Do you think that Ed would just be into him and there isn't like an issue, there isn't going to be that issue?
I mean, I think if Ed is attracted to Penguin, it will be because as a person and not, I mean, it's like, and I hate this word, but like, it's like queer blind.
Okay. I've never heard that word, so there you go.
I don't even think it's a thing. It's like colorblind, but for queer relationships, which like doesn't usually work. But I feel like in Gotham, I think that if Ed is going to love a person, it would be because they're a person and not because they're a man or a woman.
So like everyone in Gotham is pansexual. kind of.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Everyone is pansexual. The Penguin gets that. So he knows that his one shot with Ed is to get his rival out of the way, regardless of his rival's gender.
Because even if, like when Ed falls for Penguin, or maybe he already had those feelings and it's just, whatever, they're going to be happy. And then it's like 3 seconds later, of course, it'll be like, surprise, I had her killed.
Well, I mean, a lot of the commenters are saying, like, my revelation.
Oh, my revelation. Hey.
Talks about, first asked, do we think if the Miss Kringle clone is really dead or not?
Right. We don't know that she's dead.
Also speculates, and a few other people say, is this riff going to be what puts Penguin against the Riddler for future seasons and kind of make it more rivalry?
Yeah,
like
because we need a little bit more conflict, We had that conflict with Butch and
Penguin.
But that's gone away.
And
right?
Butch and Nygma as well.
Yeah, and so that's gone away for now. So it does make sense to introduce some more conflict.
That was a wonderful insight, commenter.
Yeah.
See, I thought the Penguin can keep it under wraps for a while.
Right.
But imagine Penguin being in love with the Riddler while the Riddler hates the Penguin.
Yes.
Yes. Ooh, that's juicy. I like that. That's like that's a big, beautiful steak of a plot. I love it.
I love it also. But I just want to get a little bit of romance before that,
Right.
I want to have that complicated history.
Maybe a little one.
You can do it, Gotham. You can do it. Any other interesting comments before we move on?
My revelation also says she doesn't think she's dying that quick. Penguin's going to have to kill her himself.
Oh.
And that will maybe create the blood.
We know that next episode, Nygma's going to go to Penguin for help finding her.
Right.
So maybe Penguin will find her, and we'll have to eliminate her immediately. At the very least, she's hiding out, whether or not she survived. She'd be smart to hide out, and bide her time.
Can you just imagine that actress getting that call, like, oh, we're bringing you back for season 3, and she's like, this is fantastic.
Bye.
And it's like, it's 3 episodes, and then right back out.
I did think about that when she got killed tonight, because I was like, man, Chelsea Spat can't catch a break.
Right.
They're going to put her in the glasses and the ponytail and the nerdy little sweater, and they're just going to murder her. I want Kris Kringle to die once every other season until the show ends.
It'll be like Kenny.
It's Kenny from South Park.
A Kenny thing.
Yeah.
Oh my
Where
God.
once a season we murder Kris Kringle.
Well, the other big news for next. First, there was no Bruce and Selena this episode.
Not a bit.
And I demand a refund.
Not a frame.
I'm so...
My sweet bat children.
Why? Why can't I could have just been like the romance episode, Could have had a little bit more of that.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's okay. I'm gonna, they're gonna be in next week's episode, which is called The Executioner.
Yes.
And I guess that sounds like it's gonna be Barnes's name, right?
But he's a villain.
Yeah. But he said,
yeah.
because Barnes said that he's the judge, jury, and executioner.
Judge, jury, and executioner.
Right.
Oh, wow, I just got that.
Yeah, and then next week's called The Executioner. So I'm like, I feel like that's going to be like his thing. I'm the executioner.
Do you think Barnes is going to go? Do you think he's going to die?
Not next episode. That's too soon.
Yeah, it does. That seems soon.
Yeah. I feel like he'll find a way out of it. Either Jim is going to let him go because he's going to be like, I feel you, or he's going to just disappear in a cloud of smoke to come back like the mid-season, premiere or whatever.
I feel that.
Yeah, I hope so. I don't want him to die so soon. I'm not
Unless
ready.
we see some sort of casting of Michael Chiklis getting his own show or something again.
Exactly.
Right.
And then he's gone.
God, I love Michael Chiklis.
We're going to see, he's great. We're going to see Bruce and Selena team up with Poison Ivy, who's finally going to reveal her identity to them.
Yes.
Yes, more Maggie.
Speaking of slow burns, that whole storyline.
Right, yeah, because they sort of dropped off I was expecting it to be like a huge thing in season 3 and dreading it. And now I'm looking forward to more of it, and we haven't gotten it for several episodes.
Totally.
So yeah, I'm excited to see how that goes out. It looks like it's gonna be a fun dynamic, right? I hope that Ivy is still sees Selena as a friend and a confidant, despite the distance.
Even though she was kind of mean to her last time.
Yeah,
she was, yeah.
I didn't love that, so I want to see their friendship again, even if it's a weird age discrepancy in it. That's okay. Do you guys have any theories or thoughts about next week's episode, aside from?
Well, I mean, we saw the big gun showdown between Barnes and Gordon. That seems like that's not going to go well. We have a couple of people asking, like Lily Michelson asks, who will replace Barnes if we think he's leaving? Will Jim Gordon finally become Commissioner Gordon?
I feel like Harvey's going to go first.
I think it might be Harvey as well, because Jim also just got here again.
Right. Or it's going to be that one dude who had that one scene, and that's why he had it.
That guy will
He can.
Or they finally bring Montoya back.
Oh my God! You guys don't know how much I want Montoya back. I can't handle it.
Where is Victoria Cartagena? Where is she?
What is she doing? What? Come back. But yeah, that would be great. But yeah, I think it'll be Bullock first, and that way that can have the little bit of tension between them and screen time for Bullock.
Which would also explain why he's been such a leader this season.
Yeah, he's really got his stuff together.
He really has, and I think the other cops respect him a lot. So maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't want Barnes to go because I love seeing Michael Chiklis there. I love the commish. What can I say?
Oh, but interesting theory. Benjamin Slade says,
Ooh.
you know, wouldn't Penguin as mayor get to pick the next commissioner? And that would probably go with his thing with Gordon.
I love that. Do you think he'd pick Gordon?
So he would pick his old crush.
Yeah, that would, you know, you can see where it might,
if
you know, skip
he
ahead.
picked Gordon, that would create even more, probably, friction between him and Harvey.
Yep.
Because Harvey would be like, yeah, you know, I know you don't deserve that right now.
Man, I love our commenters. You give me headcanons. I love this.
Write the fic if it doesn't happen.
Right?
But yeah, I was going to say that even if he stops being commissioner, it doesn't mean he has to die. So we could still see Michael Chiklis in the villain role while someone else takes over as commissioner.
I would love to see him in a true villain role. Just have him go cuckoo bananas.
Yeah, I feel like he's going to have to, right? He's already he's winning, or he was winning one battle at a time, right? But now he's already losing the war.
But I would love to see him really face off as a proper villain.
Yes.
Because that's a different role for Michael Chiklis. He's always, you know, stralwart, strong. He's a bulldog of a person. Yeah. Or a pug, depending on the role.
It would be nice to see him get to sink his teeth
just
into that kind of role.
Villain it up.
I was gonna be bite the flesh of that role, but that doesn't make that's a weird metaphor.
Yeah, well then we're getting into more Gotham darkness.
I will say that I think that was my favorite scene this episode was when he was talking to Gordon about one battle at a time, and he was like, you know, but I know I'm gonna lose the war. I was like, I really feel him in this scene. I'm gonna cry.
Because he reminded me then of when he met Jim Gordon.
Ah, yes.
Because baby Jim Gordon was like, there's no way we can win against Gotham playing by the law. We can't win these battles. We can't win the war playing by their rules. And Barnes always said that we have to, the thing that distinguishes us from them is that we do play by the rules. Yeah. And then having those roles reversed and having Barnes say, you know, we can't play by these rules. And Jim Gordon is saying, of course we have to. We're cops.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
a full circle type thing.
Cyclical character that's happening this entire season.
Yeah,
which
that's what's making this season so much stronger, I think, than the previous ones.
Yeah, it's bringing things back to where they were before, but different, sexier, and stranger.
Okay, final question for you guys before we move on and say goodbye to Alexis, etc. What do you guys think was the point of the doppelgangers with Isabel and Kristen? Is that going to go further? Are we going to learn something about that?
Let's not forget.
Yeah, and Bruce.
That's true.
There's been two doppelgangers.
Doubling up this season.
So is that a theme? A larger...
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Is it a larger theme building to something? Or was this just to make Nygma crazy and Penguin a murderer again?
I think the Kristen stuff was just to make Nygma crazy. I honestly do. Because I feel like if they had cast somebody who looked vaguely like Chelsea Spack, but also wasn't her, it wouldn't have had the same effect as that.
It had to be her, yeah.
Yeah, it had to be literally her face to get Nygma to that point. The Bruce stuff, totally different. Court of Owls, mega conspiracy. The Kristen stuff is a little more benign on behalf of the casting directors.
What do you think, Daniel?
Well, I'd be curious to see, you know, if third time's a charm, if a third doppelganger shows up this season.
Right, then you know.
Then, you know. But yeah, I would personally, I would love to see it turn into something having to do with Clayface. I think that would be very interesting to see. Again, I don't want to jam pack the season with too many villains because I know Jerome's coming back and stuff. But Clayface has always been one of my favorite villains in the Batman mythos.
That would have been super awesome if we had seen the train coming and then her
and
dissolving,
just turns into Clayface. God, I would have loved that.
Now I'm sad that didn't happen. Maybe we'll see it in the start of next week's episode.
Maybe write to the mayor, write to the Penguin and say, hey, we'd love to see.
And then that would add a different layer because he was in love with Isabella, who was pretending to be Kristen, but it was actually Clayface, right?
It was Clayface. Oh God, he was screwing Clayface the whole time. That's nasty.
Damn it.
But I love it.
But again, not too weird for this season.
Not too
With what
weird
we've
for
seen.
Gotham.
Any final questions or comments before we say goodbye to the pain?
Lily Michelson again
fave.
asked maybe Barnes will go solo to try and take down Falcone.
I like that. That would explain Falcone's appearance. Yeah.
Yep.
I like the way you think, Lily. I like
Yes, putting those two white-haired old dudes against each other, gonna be great.
It'll be the middle-aged battle of our dreams. We don't have to wait for Bruce to become an adult anymore to see that.
Super proto Batman. It's gonna be Falcone versus Barnes.
Benjamin Slade says Barnes right now reminds me of Lockup from the animated series.
Oh,
It's sort of like,
all right, yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. I like all these new thoughts and
Yes, more villains. Throw them at me. I'm into this.
So yeah, those are some of the
Well, thank you guys
the speculations
for
coming
joining us this lovely evening. Stick around for Welcome to the Batcave. And remember, you can send us any of your thoughts by using #GothamAS or Gotham Aftershow throughout the week. All right, we'll see you guys next week and in 10 minutes.